And I am so excited to welcome back Governor Walz and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff to Hotlanta. Now, y'all, it may be fall, but in the South, we all know summer runs straight through Thanksgiving. And I see so many familiar faces here today that I've met running across several districts now here in Atlanta. I keep saying, hey, hang around long enough, I'll be representing you in New York and California and Louisiana. But Georgia Republicans have tried to kick me out of Congress countless times these last few years. But let me make something very, very clear. They don't get to pick who represents Georgia. You do. You do. So I am here for the fight. Are you with me? Lives are on the line this election cycle, and we must sprint over this finish line. And as I've been on the campaign trail working to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the word that keeps coming back to me over and over again is hope. And I'll have to say, I know a little bit of something about hope. It's what got me through the darkest season of my life when in 2012, I lost my son, Jordan Davis, to senseless gun violence, simply because he was just playing loud music in his car. Hope is what prompted me to stand up and to turn my pain into purpose. Hope is what had me, just a suburban mom who worked as a flight attendant, speak out and become an advocate against dangerous gun laws. And hope is what I remember learning as a young girl in the civil rights movement with my parents, who led the Illinois branch of the NAACP and brought us along to all the marches and all the rallies across the country, including the March on Washington. Hope is what propelled my heart in 2018 to run in a district that was once held by Newt Gingrich and flip it for the first time in decades And y'all, I flipped that district by 1 percentage point. But hope is what we all cling to in our darkest hours. But for those bold enough, it's also our first steps towards transformation. Today, we're all coming together because we've heard the vicious vitriol that's been spouted by extremists. And we gather as a show of force to tell the wave of hate and divisiveness afflicting our nation that we are not going back. Because we've seen hope. And this Tuesday, it's got 2 names. 2 names at the top of the ballot box across the nation. And those names are Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Woo! Folks, I don't need to remind you of the stakes. I don't need to remind you of the man who's waiting to re-enter office and inflict another term of chaos and calamity. I don't need to remind you of what we lose out on by not having a President Harris and a Vice President Walz. Because as a mother who had to bury her own son, I know the stakes of this election. While I am heartbroken at the extreme divisiveness that has afflicted our nation, I am so hopeful of the transformation that is now possible with all the Americans like you that are standing up to join this fight, knowing that enough is enough. Enough is enough. And this Tuesday, this ticket is going to make history. Then, this Wednesday, we get back to work. Georgia, are you ready for change? Georgia, are you ready to win? Georgia, do you have your boots on to get in the trenches and fight? Because we know when we fight, we what? When we fight, we what? Let's go win!
Please welcome Maya Harris.
Hello, Atlanta. Hello. I am so happy to be back in Georgia for this final sprint of our campaign. And I just want to thank you. Thank all of you for being here. Thank all of you for what you have done, are doing, and I hope you will do to help Kamala Harris and Tim Walz win the great state of Georgia and win this election. Now, you all are here because you know the stakes of this election. You know the choice we face in this election is between two fundamentally different views of and for our country. One that would take us backwards to a time when rights and freedoms were for some of us, but not all of us. And one that would turn the page and take us forward to a new and brighter future. And Georgia, that brighter future is within our grasp. So, growing up, our mother taught Kamala and me that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. We can have different perspectives, different histories, different struggles, but the thing that binds us all together is the desire to be free, to fulfill our God-given potential. Now, Kamala's life has been about fighting. Her entire life has been about fighting for each of us to have that freedom. And so we know that in this election, there is only one choice. If we want a leader who's going to fight to build an inclusive democracy where no matter who you are, where you come from, what zip code you live in, what your background is, what language you speak, what accent you have, what religion you practice, no matter who you are, you have the opportunities that you deserve. Someone who's going to fight for an America where we recognize that our differences, they are not a weakness. They are our greatest strength. Someone who will fight for an America where we grow our economy by investing in the middle class, because Kamala and I, we grew up in a hard-working middle-class community, and we were raised to believe that every hardworking American should be able to find a good-paying job, buy a home, or start a business, and you should be able to build wealth, to have something to pass on to your children, to live in a prosperous community. And that's why Kamala talks about not just getting by, but getting ahead. And listen, we know there is only one leader who's fighting for an America that trusts and respects women to make our own decisions about our bodies, our health, and our future. So that's who Kamala is. That's who Kamala always has been. And that's who I know Kamala will be when we elect her president of the United States. And Donald Trump, you know, we know who he is too. He has shown us over and over and over again. He thinks he's more qualified than women to make decisions about our health, our bodies, and our futures. We all know when it comes to reproductive freedom, he simply does not trust women, and he cannot be trusted. And you see how he and his allies talk about hardworking families, the disrespect, the disparaging of whole communities. Let's be very clear. When someone cannot see your humanity, you can be sure they will not fight for your opportunity. He will not fight for your family. He's not looking out for Georgia. He's just looking out for himself. He'd rather stoke fear and hate and divide this country than unite us, because he knows when the people come together, we have the power. So we now have 2 days, okay? We have 2 days left to show that power. You have the power. Georgia, you can decide this election. And let me tell you, over the last couple of months, I have been traveling the country talking to voters everywhere about Kamala. And folks that I have met are so committed, so fired up, so joyful. The joy is real. The joy is real. And they are out in force, leading in this moment. Everywhere I go, I am meeting people who are leaving it all on the field, just like you are doing here in Georgia. I was actually in Georgia when you crossed the record-breaking 1 millionth early vote mark. So I'm now just here to say, keep going, keep going, keep going. Or, as our family's other Maya Rudolph, said last night, keep Kamala and carry Anala. This is still a very close election. It's still a very close election, and it is going to take all of us to get this over the finish line. So if you have not voted yet, please go vote. And then talk to your friends, talk to your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, everyone that you can, because we have got to make sure that Georgia is voting in numbers so overwhelming that you leave no doubt about where you stand. Y'all, we can do this. We will do this. If you all keep showing up like you've been showing up, if you keep doing the work, and I mean keep doing the work until the polls close and not a single more vote can be cast. If you keep showing up and you keep doing the work, that's how we're going to protect our freedoms. That's how we're going to usher in that brighter future that Kamala's talked about. And that is most certainly how we are going to elect my sister, Kamala Harris, President of the United States. Thank you.
Please welcome Vice President of Programming for Young Democrats of Georgia and high school senior, Tyler Lee.
How are we doing, Georgia? My name is Tyler Lee, and I am a senior at Peachtree Ridge High School and a gun violence prevention advocate. Last month, I turned 18 on October 14th. And on October 15th, the first day of early voting in Georgia, I cast my ballot to send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House. When I entered that voting booth in Duluth, Georgia, I was presented with a choice, a path backwards towards division and extremism, or a path forward toward opportunity, joy, and unity. When I cast my vote for Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz, I voted for my Korean immigrant grandparents who came to this country. I voted for economic opportunity for all Americans. I voted for reproductive freedom. I voted for a new way forward where all of us can get ahead, not just get by. And you know what? I also turned the page on Donald Trump and his hatred and division. Vice President Harris represents the American dream. And Donald Trump will take us back. I am a proud, soon-to-be graduate of public high school. And I am so proud to be a future first-generation college student. But Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda, don't boo, vote, would strip funding from the Department of Education and wreak havoc on our public education system. In doing so, Trump and his allies would rip away opportunities from me and other young students reaching for the American dream. But Georgia, we hold the power to reject him once and for all in this election. We must rise to the occasion and make sure we have a plan to vote this Tuesday. Check your polling locations at iwillvote.com and remember to bring your photo ID. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if you're in line by 7 p.m., stay in line. That's right. This is going to take all of us, Georgia. As the second gentleman likes to say, when we fight, we win. Now with us today is somebody who knows our next president better than anybody else. Let's promote him from the second gentleman in our nation's history to our first gentleman in our nation's history. Please welcome Doug Emhoff.
Tyler, great job, man. Thank you so much. He got to introduce my wife, Kamala, too. It's pretty good. He showed me a picture. And my sister-in-law, Maya Harris, how amazing is she? But even after SNL last night, she's still my favorite Maya. Although the other Maya is pretty good, too, right? But I got to tell you something. We are right near the end. Just got a couple of days left, a couple of hours left. So it means so much to me to be on the road with family in these final days of the campaign, because family is what this is all about. Our daughter Ella was with me yesterday in Pennsylvania. Our son Cole joined me in Las Vegas a couple of days ago, and we actually got to see Kamala speak with J-Lo too. So, but we've gone everywhere. I have been all over this country, backwards and forwards, for the last 15 weeks. And what better way to finish strong than here in Atlanta with my pal, Governor Tim Walz. And man, you're in for a treat with Michael Stipe, the Warren Treaty, and John Bon Jovi. Now, I actually grew up about a few miles away from John Bon Jovi, believe it or not, New Jersey, Old Bridge, you know? And he's such a legend, but he's such an awesome person. The way all the things that he does for his community and his country, I'm very proud to call him a friend. And Kamala actually got to be with John and the Warren Treaty yesterday in North Carolina. And I'm thrilled that we're all here with you today. And John is with his wife, Dorothea. They've done so much for the campaign. Kamala and I are so grateful to them. And the proud son of Athens, Georgia, Michael Stipe. It's so surreal to me to be a lifelong REM fan. I mean, diehard fan. I mean, I saw him in concert in the early 80s, and the fact that he and I have become friends over the past several years is just incredible. But Michael has worked so hard. He's such a stalwart throughout this entire campaign, supporting us in so many ways, including performances for us in Pittsburgh and in his hometown of Athens, Georgia. And he's been all over social media. And the Warren Treaty, our new friends, I just got to meet them, but I've seen their video. Tanya, Michael, thank you so much for all you've done along with John. We appreciate you. Now let me talk and brag a little bit about Tim Walz. Tim is awesome. So I actually first met him when I was second gentleman, when I went to Minnesota for a small business tour. And Minnesota is ranked as one of the top 5 states to do business. And Tim's work as governor there is a huge part of that. So I can tell right away that this is a guy who just gets it. He's a great leader. He's a great dad. He's a great coach. And he's been an incredible running mate for Kamala. And I'm going to tell you this, Georgia. Tim Walz is going to make one hell of a vice president. All right, Atlanta. How are we feeling about winning right here in Georgia? Because I am so fired up by the energy in this room. And this is the same exact energy that we are feeling on the ground all across the state of Georgia and all across the country. And I tell you, we feel it every single time we see Kamala speak. I barely got to see her at all. You may have seen her in person more than me these past 15 weeks. And I hadn't really seen her speak in person since the convention. And I was sad about that. I caught glimpses. I'm out here working. I'm trying to help her get elected. I don't have time for it. I mean, we're doing this. So I went back, I was on the road. I wanted to make sure I could see that speech on the ellipse in DC. I wanted to see it. So, you know, to see her in front of all those people, I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say, my wife, such a badass, but but it was really the first time since the convention that I could kind of experience the whole thing with her. You know, getting ready at the residence. We rode together for the first time in a long time, seeing thousands of people lining the streets, waving at her. You can literally see people crying. You can see the emotion. That was just in the car. So surreal for me to experience that. And as her husband, but also as an American, as someone who loves his wife and loves this country, I have never been more proud of her. And we saw a president on that stage. We saw a leader with a positive, inclusive vision of America that we can all be proud of, and an America that we all have a place in. This is our country. And reflected in every face and every crowd at her rallies, and right here tonight, is the affirmation that Americans are ready to turn the page. We are sick of this guy, aren't we? It's been almost a decade with this guy. It is time to move forward, and move forward with my wife, Kamala Harris. People are tired They are just sick and tired of this. We're sick and tired of being told we have to be angry all the time. We're sick and tired of hearing we have to be divided. We're just sick of it. And quite frankly, people I meet don't want to worry about politics all the time. They want to worry about their own lives. So as Kamala said it, I think we all agree, we are done. We're done. Turn the page. Because don't you agree, we have so much more in common as Americans than what divides us. We know that as friends and neighbors, and I see it everywhere around this amazing country of ours. And everywhere I go these days, I'm knocking on doors too. Have you knocked on doors? It's fun, right? So thank you for your hard work for those doors. So when I go canvassing, it's a little bit different because I got the Secret Service and I got all these people around me. But so most of the time we're kind of going to a couple of houses that they know we're coming, but they're still excited. But I was in Las Vegas and someone comes running out of their house. I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on here? Comes running out, and it was a man who just flagged me down, and I just went up and he said, I am a Republican. And he wanted to tell me that Kamala Harris was the first Democrat he's ever voted for in his entire life. He told me he could not take another Trump term. He could not take the chaos. He did not want his freedom taken away. He did not want his benefits, Social Security, Medicare taken away. And like so many like him, people are putting country over party. And that's what we need to do. And that's how Kamala is going to be as president. When she was a prosecutor, she never asked a victim if they were a Republican or a Democrat. She only asked, are you okay? What can I do for you? And she said that she will be a president for all of us, for all Americans. So just 15 weeks ago, folks, it's only been 15 weeks. So when the country needed a leader, Kamala was the one who stepped up. Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work. She secured that nomination. She united the party. She picked an incredible running mate in Governor Walz. And Kamala and Tim have put forth a policy agenda focused on you, your health care, your cost of living, your goal of starting a business, your path to building generational wealth, and protecting your fundamental freedoms. Her solutions to the challenges you face come from listening. She actually listens. And Kamala always asks me, Dougie, how was your day? And we talk about the people that I meet, that she meets, and the stories that you share with us, the struggles, your dreams. My wife cares about what your life is actually like. She understands the hurdles in your way, and she has actual concrete plans to keep you moving forward. But we know this campaign has required more than having the right policy proposals. Kamala had to take on Trump and his little sycophants each and every step of the way. You know, those little, so unbelievable. And she did it making her case. She did it on the debate stage. And she's done it all across America. She's done it because women are dying. They're dying right here in Georgia because of the Trump abortion bans in more than 20 states. Women like Amber Thurman. Now, Trump saying he will protect women whether they like it or not is, come on. Oh, and he's also saying that RFK Jr. will be in charge of women's health. Does that sound like a good idea to you, Georgia? Women want rights. They don't want protection. Women want rights. They don't want protection. And they're not going to be gaslit and lied to by the guy responsible for taking those rights away. I was in Philadelphia last night. A group of young women came up to me. We were at the team dinner. They told me they had voted for Kamala, and then one of them just started crying. She said she lives with her mother, and all they can talk about these days is just how vitally important it is that Kamala wins. And again, just the emotion. This is what we're hearing, experiencing all over the country because it's that important. She's talking about her own rights, but everyone's rights, and also about what's going to happen in the future. So, look, we need to take this very seriously right now. I mean, we're right at the end, and I know you all see that. And what we need to talk to some of these folks that just don't quite get it yet, what an actual threat this guy is. Because you got to listen to what he's saying. It's not just a threat to reproductive freedom. It's a threat to all of our freedom, our very democracy. Just today, earlier today, I couldn't believe it, Trump said he shouldn't have left the White House at the end of his term. He said that. He just said it an hour or so ago. Imagine that. And Trump and his team are already making unfounded claims of cheating in this election. After the big lie when they, forced all these states under the guise of election integrity to strengthen or, make it harder to vote, now they're still complaining. And we know exactly why they're pulling these stunts. They're worried because you're voting in record numbers in early voting. And Georgia, if you turn out and vote like you did last time, Trump's going to be looking to find more than 11,780 votes. And this guy was a terrible business person in his business, so-called business career. He's a terrible president on the economy. But if he gets back in the White House, our entire economy will be destroyed. When he was president, he added almost $9 trillion to the national debt with tax cuts for his buddies like Elon Musk and the largest corporations. This time around, economists of Moody's have predicted that his policies would trigger a recession immediately. Trump is doing this for a small group of people like Elon Musk. So people, you think he's for them, but he's not. He's not your friend. He's not on your side. So don't fall for it. So if you know people are on the fence, tell them to do their research. Tell them to go online and see exactly what's coming out of his mouth. Show them what he looks like while he's saying it. It's falling apart. Do the research. But this election is not just about voting against Trump and Vance. It's about voting for Harris and Walz. Over the course of this just 15-week campaign, it's only been 15 weeks, Kamala has shown the entire country and world that she is ready to be president. 20 years as a frontline prosecutor, elected district attorney of San Francisco, elected attorney general of California, elected United States Senator from California, and our vice president. I would say she's qualified and ready to be commander-in-chief on day one. She will be a strong leader on the world stage. Why? Because she already is a leader on the world stage. She doesn't need to train for that. Kamala has made her argument, and America loves what it sees. You can feel it on the ground here in Georgia, you can see it in the polls, and you can feel the momentum. But look, this is a binary choice. She said it, and just picture this. In less than 90 days, one of them, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, is going to be sitting behind that resolute desk in the Oval Office. Think about that, folks. So it comes down to what kind of person and what kind of president we want behind that desk. Someone who's going to get there with his little Diet Coke button in his enemies list, or someone like Kamala Harris who's going to get you-know-what done on day one. Kamala's the only choice. She's the only choice to move us forward as a country. And we just have 2 days left to finish the job and get her to the Oval Office. Now, look, I know I look tired. I sound not great. And you know what? I should be tired. But you should be tired too, because we got to do this to save our country. Now, Governor Walz has said many times, I'll sleep when I'm dead. But I think that's extreme, Tim. I want to be around to enjoy your administration. So I plan on sleeping Wednesday. But for these next 2 days, we got to push through. We got to keep going until the polls close. We got to keep making those calls, knocking on those doors, making sure that everyone has a plan to vote. We don't want to have any regrets when this is over. It shouldn't be this close, but it is. Oh, I don't know if it is even. I think she's going to win by a lot. But we are going to win. On Tuesday, we're going to elect Tim Walz as vice president and my wife, Kamala Harris, as the next president of the United States. But there's more. Okay, so Tim, when Kamala and Tim took the stage together for the first time in Philadelphia just 14 and a half weeks ago, I met him that one time in Minnesota, but that was really the second time I met him. And I just got up on that stage and gave him the biggest bro hug in the world, because that's the kind of guy he is. And I have to tell you, I got a lot of texts from some longtime friends and some family members and said, well, what's going on? You never hugged me like that. But I said, well, he's awesome. I was excited because meeting him and his family, Gwen and Gus and Hope, you just knew Kamala made the right choice. You could just see it. And so to see Tim out there every day working so hard on behalf of this campaign, but on behalf of this country, it's been so great. So I've only got to see him a couple of times in between. This is actually our first event together. So I get to bookend that big bear hug from day one. Hopefully we get to repeat it when he comes out here. It is my honor to welcome to the stage a veteran, a teacher, a coach, a governor, a father, a man who embodies what it means to be an American and what it means to serve, and a leader who is ready to get to work on day one as your vice president. May I introduce the next vice president of the United States, my buddy, Tim Walz.
Well, I was born in a small town, and I live in a small town.
Wow, hello, Atlanta. Wow. You're here today, so I got to do it. 27-13, Atlanta here on this one. 2 minutes left in the game. You're in good shape. You're going to win this thing. Falcons. Hey, how lucky are we? Doug Emhoff, an incredible partner. He is going to make the greatest and the first gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff. I love getting to know this guy over the past few months. Incredibly grateful. Kamaya, thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for the hard work you're doing. Thank you for bringing your powerful message. And can I just say, Georgia, thank you for sending Lucy McBath to the United States Congress. She's there working to protect all our children. And I have to tell you, I got a chance back here. You're going to hear from some folks. As soon as I get off the stage, we're going to get a little bit of entertainment up here. A huge thank you to Michael Stipe, John Bon Jovi, the Warren Treaty, and all the talent. I can't tell you how great it is when you finally get to meet your idols and they're actually cooler than you thought they were. These guys are. They're out here doing it. And I'll save this. Tyler, thank you for that incredible kickoff to this thing. Let's all agree, after we win this election with Kamala Harris, this next generation of leaders like Tyler, we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. And thank you to all of you. Look around this. Look around this room. You could be anywhere. You could be doing anything at home. Hell, you could have been watching the Falcons. You could have been doing all that. But you didn't. You came here simply because you love this country. Thank you for that. Thank you. There you go. Wow. What a privilege. You've been hearing it, and we've been saying it, how many months we had, then how many weeks, then how many days. Folks, we're down to about 48 hours. About 48 hours. 48 hours to not just shape the next 4 years, but to shape the next 40 years and generations to come. Now, I know for this room, because I want to be clear, I understand clearly that I am preaching to the choir. But our recital is in 2 days, choir. And we need to sing. We need to sing. So there are folks out there, though, that still haven't made up their mind. And I know you've heard it from folks. It's kind of hard to believe, but you've heard them from them. This is the line I get from folks I know, family, some of these, you get them. They say, well, you know, I really can't stand Trump and the stuff he does. And we're all saying, oh, really? You know, after this. But then they pivot to this. But he was good on the economy. That's a little fuzzy, people. I think it's important, again, to just set the stage about that. 4 years ago, during Donald Trump's time in office, we had lost 2.7 million jobs. Unemployment was way up. And this guy's refusal to listen to experts, he so botched the pandemic. Tens of thousands of Americans died needlessly, and the rest of us were thrown into a hunger game to try and find toilet paper with our neighbors. That's what he did. Now, look, if he's talking about 4 years ago, if you were a billionaire, you could probably agree with him because you got a tax cut and the rest of us got squat out of the deal. Now, if he gets back in the White House, he's promised, yeah, hell forbid that. Let's go. If he gets back in, he's talking about a $2 trillion cut in spending. J.D. Vance specifically said to do that, they will go after Social Security. And they're starting to get a little cocky and saying the quiet stuff out loud. Speaker of the House, the guy that no one knows because it took like 10 weeks to get one from them, this guy says they're going to gut the Affordable Care Act. But you know it. You know they're going to go and try and get rid of it. And you know what happens when the ACA goes away. For them, it's just they talk about it. It doesn't matter. Pre-existing conditions for all of us. That was the genius of Obamacare. It put control of your health care back with you, not insurance companies. Now, Donald's had 9 years to come up with a plan for health care. He's now morphed it into concept of a plan. But look, he tries now because the ACA is popular. People kind of like having health care. They kind of like taking their kids to the doctor when they need to. They kind of like not going broke and losing their houses because they had a health scare. So it's really popular. But that didn't stop him the first time. He ran on repealing the ACA. He signed an executive order to try and repeal the ACA. He signed on to a lawsuit to get rid of the ACA. And 60 times, he, along with the Republican Congress, tried to get rid of it. Had it not been the courage for John McCain, we would have lost the ACA. And 2 days ago, Speaker Johnson suggested that if Trump wins this thing, they're going to go back and repeal. the CHIPS and Science Act. Defunding, listen to this, defunding 115,000 jobs that are already working in manufacturing and construction, including 1,200 good-paying jobs right here in Georgia. Now, this thing is not only important for jobs, it's critical that we win the competition of the 21st century from countries like China. That's what those investments do. Now, Donald hates it when we remind him that he's almost 80 years old. He's almost 80 years old. And in that 80 years, you would have thought he would have learned how a tariff works. Because everybody else has. CEOs of Black & Decker, Columbia, and all these companies say, if Donald Trump gets his way and he puts this tariff on, it will add 20% to virtually everything you buy, costing all families about $4,000 a year. Anything you get, right out of your pocket. That dude said he went to the Wharton School. He should get his money back from that if he did. Look, you heard Doug say it. You heard everybody say it. Donald's not interested in making your life better. In fact, Donald's not thinking about you at all. I mentioned this the other day. You know, on your phone, you got the lock screen. You got your kids, you got your grandkids, you got your dog, you got your car. If you're some of us, you got it on there. Donald's got a picture of himself on his phone. That's true story. True story. Can we agree that is weird behavior there? That is weird behavior. Yeah. Look, I know we heard this. Last time, there were some guardrails around him. There was a Supreme Court before he put the 3 on it. There were some other things there. But this time, the guardrails are gone. He's looking to fill government top to bottom with hacks and fanatics. They asked him, what one thing do you regret or would you have done differently as president? My God, it should have taken him 10 years to fill the list. He couldn't think of anything except one thing. He didn't put enough people loyal to him in office. That's what he said. That's what he said. Look, the folks who were there before reined him in. Those were serious people. Generals, secretaries of defense, national security advisors, his own vice president. They were pleading with him, and now they're pleading with us. As Kamala said, they are making a 911 call to us. Don't let this guy back in power. Look, I know people are stressed. There's a few good things in this too. Just think about this. After about 48 hours, we win this thing. We have President Harris. We won't ever have to talk about this guy again. Never. So if you're on the roller coaster, oh, we're winning, oh, we're losing, oh, we're winning, get off the roller coaster. Get off the roller coaster and do something proactive on this. If you want to get rid of the anxiety, go vote. Go vote. This room is going to be part of turning the page on Donald Trump, and we get to elect a new generation of leadership. Not only do we get rid of this guy and not have to hear from him or see him on TV or listen to the nonsense again, we get to do what we saw and the world saw from the ellipse on Tuesday. That's what a president looks like. That's what a president sounds like. That is a president for all Americans with vision and compassion and grace, offering us a new way forward. Look, she promised you, we are not for sure. She promised you on day one, she is not going into the White House with an enemies list. She's going in there with a to-do list to improve your life. And we've been clear, right at the top, lowering the cost of living and putting more money back in your pocket. That is her priority every single day. For starters, she talks about, and we will do this, enacting the first ever federal ban on price gouging. Now, I'm out there talking to people. I spent a decade and a half teaching high school. You get pretty good at trying to explain things in different ways to the teachers out here. Let me explain price gouging in a couple examples. I was with a farmer up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and we were talking about food prices and different things. He grew corn, potatoes, and ran some cattle. But I said, so when food prices were cheaper, what were you getting for a bushel of corn? And he said, about $4.10 a bushel. And I said, now that food prices are higher, what are you getting for a bushel of corn? And he said, about $4.10 a bushel. Wow, that's weird. The people actually growing the food and doing things are getting the same amount of money. We're paying more at the grocery store, and the only variable in there that changed is corporate profits are at an all-time high. You think they're messing with us with the lights? Unlike Donald Trump, I just want to give a big thank you who produced these events to the folks who put it on. It's hard work. It's hard work. Usually that's me leaning on the light switch mostly, so that's what you know. But look, Kamala's got a real plan here. 100 million Americans will see a tax cut in the middle class, including the most important tax cut we can implement. We did it during COVID. That's the child tax credit, $6,000, the child's first life. When we did that during COVID, we reduced childhood poverty by half, the largest decrease in childhood poverty that we have seen in American history. That's what we can do. And extending the cap of $35 on insulin to everyone in the country. Example 2 on price gouging. Kamala was able to get it through. That's $35 on a month for that little vial of insulin. And that's for seniors. That is life-saving that they need. Now, in Minnesota, we extended it to everyone because we had a young man, Alex Smith. Alex aged off his parents' insurance, and he started rationing his insulin. He died. He died because of it. His mom, Nicole, came to the state capitol and said, never again should a family go through this type of trauma for it. And we extended the $35 to everyone in Minnesota. That's what Kamala's asking for. But here's the kicker on this. Those of you who know this, that little vial that now costs $35 and she wants to extend to everyone, in Minnesota before we did that, they were charging $800 for that. Many times insurance wouldn't pay for it. Here's the real kicker. It costs $5 to manufacture it. Now, health is a fundamental piece of what we're doing, protecting the ACA, protecting pre-existing conditions, and she has proposed something that is transformational, having Medicare pay for in-home care for our seniors. Big deal. Big deal. I see some young faces. Those of you who are young, trust me on this, and the gray hairs in here will tell you this. You don't think much about Medicare. You start getting up around 60, you spend about half your day thinking about Medicare because it's pretty important. She's also talking about enhancing those benefits that we paid into by making sure Medicare can pay for glasses and hearing aids. It's a smart thing. Helping the middle class. Keep prices down, protect your health care, expand Medicare, protect Social Security, and then make something that is so important to all of us, making home ownership a reality by making sure we give $25,000 down payment for everybody assistance to own a home. And there's folks that have a dream. To start a small business costs about $40,000, the initial startup cost. We offer a $5,000 tax credit presently. Kamala is proposing that we up that to $50,000 to give more people the opportunity to start their American dream. Now, folks, that's part of our plan around an opportunity economy. It is not a concept. It is a damn plan that works. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of that plan. You know, something we get asked too, because Donald Trump, his plan, adding tariffs, tax cut for billionaires, the economists all said That will add $8 trillion to the deficit. He is already the king of debt. He called himself that. He ran up more debt, and it took the national debt higher than any other president before him. So we got asked, how are you going to pay for these programs? I said, well, for starters, Donald can pay his damn taxes to the federal government, which he hasn't done. Because these guys are trying to fundamentally rework this country, making it harder to form unions, pushing workers down, shifting wealth to the few billionaires at the top, while the rest of us get the scraps that are left. Now, it's not just a haphazard thing. They really do have a plan. It's called Project 2025. It's very clear. Some of you heard me say this. I know this about football. If you're going to make a playbook, you're going to run the plays. And this playbook is a damn nightmare for the middle class. First and foremost, I want this repealing all of the good things that we know could be done. But there's so much in here that goes beyond the economic shift of wealth to the top, tax cuts for the wealthiest, gutting Social Security, gutting Medicare, making it more difficult to form a union. There's also basic freedoms in here. Some of you are old enough, and there's some of you in here, I bet, that at one time were independents or Republicans, maybe John McCain's Republican Party or a Reagan Republican, maybe some of those folks. That's different than these guys. When Donald Trump talks about freedom, that's the freedom to be in your exam room. That's the freedom to be in your bedroom. That's the freedom to tell you what books to read. That's the freedom to force their religious beliefs on you. Those are the things they're talking about. When Kamala talks about freedom, she means the people should be free to make those decisions, not politicians. Freedom means a lot of things. Freedom means freedom for our seniors to be able to have that dignified retirement by strengthening Social Security and Medicare, not cutting it. And to all of you in here, the freedom to dress your little ones up in their best clothes, send them to school in classrooms where teachers are paid a fair wage and the school is funded. And the freedom of those little ones to be children and not be shot dead in their classrooms. These guys don't get to frame this one. I know guns. I am a veteran. I'm a hunter. I'm a gun owner. Kamala is a gun owner. Kamala and I know we can uphold, as we have, the Second Amendment while also upholding our first responsibility, protecting our children. Protecting our children. These are the freedoms we're talking about. I want to talk in this one. We got a great group in here, but I want to talk to the guys in the room for just a second. I want you in your mind right now, think of those women in your life who you love, whether it's moms, sisters, daughters, wives, aunts, friends. Literally, this election, their lives are at stake on how we vote. Quite literally. Donald Trump appointed those Supreme Court justices who, by the way, lied in their confirmation hearings and said that they would uphold Roe versus Wade. They didn't. They overturned it. And he brags about that. What he's bragging about is he's glad that your daughters, your wives, those women you love in your lives are now put more at risk and have fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers. That's what he's bragging about. More than 20 states, including right here in Georgia, now have Trump abortion bans. Now, Donald Trump said you shouldn't worry about this. If you're a woman, he'll be your protector. Donald Trump will be your protector. He can't even open the door to a garbage truck, let alone. But you're right. Some of this would be fodder for a show that should be canceled, a two-bit comedy show or whatever. But this guy's asking to be back as president of the United States, and he's bringing a vengeance, and he's been very clear, talking about using the military against our own citizens, weaponizing the Department of Justice and doing that. So he's incredibly dangerous. Not only did he say he would be your protector, when he got a little blowback on that, he said, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. Look, to be fair, that's how he's lived his life, and a jury of his peers agreed. You see what I did there? But look, here is really truly what we're seeing now, though. Women are being turned away from emergency rooms and miscarrying in parking lots, whether they like it or not. Survivors of rape and incest being forced to carry those pregnancies to term, whether they like it or not. Fertility clinics have turned couples away at the door, whether they like it or not. For so many of us in this room, all of us in here, it's personal. For Gwen and I, it was infertility issues. And because we had access to fertility treatments, we were able to have a family. And I'll be damned if anyone in this country should be denied the same things that we had. When we hold the Senate, when we take the House of Representatives and they pass a reproductive freedom bill, President Harris will sign it into law. There's a few simple things here. You mind your business, I'll mind mine. And Kamala and I trust women, and it starts from that. I also get a pretty good vibe out of this room that women across this country, every age, every background, every political party, are going to send a loud and clear message to Donald Trump on November 5th. Whether he likes it or not. He has no idea that can that he opened up on that day. Look, Kamala says it. We're not going back for a reason. We're not going back to that. We're not going back to the 50s. We're not putting women's lives at risk. We're not busting unions. We're not ignoring science. We're not doing it. And look, we've got the opportunity. That's why I'm here. On behalf of Kamala, on behalf of myself, I'm humbly asking you for your vote on November 5th. Now look, 2 days, momentum's on our side, but we're not taking anything for granted. So I did this for too many years. Here's the deal, folks. This game is tied and there's 2 minutes left. We've got the damn ball. We got the best quarterback on the field with Kamala Harris. As Doug said, we're too damn tough and too damn stubborn to get tired. We'll sleep when we have time when we're dead. That's not it. Because I'm telling you, in Georgia, 1 or 2 votes per precinct could win the whole damn race right here. I heard you talking about those 11,700 votes. I'm in agreement with these folks. Let's win this thing by more than that here in Georgia. Let's win it by more. But I said, I'll take the wind. And if that, as a Georgian said one time, that arc of the moral universe bending towards justice, I know it will. So if we win Georgia, when we win Georgia, when we win. But if it happened by 1 vote, it will be Jimmy Carter's vote that did it. So that's what we'll do. So all of you here, Georgia, you got a proud history down here. And I know this will happen at some point, years in the future, when you're sitting in that rocking chair on the porch and you're rocking away as no person. And a little one comes up to you, coming home from school, where they're studying the 2024 election. When the American experiment survived and democracy stood tall and the rule of law held, that little one's going to say, what did you do to make that happen? And your answer is every damn thing we could. How many of you have already voted? All right. For the rest of you, we need to talk to others. Visit iwillvote.com/GA to find your polling place. Take an ID, take somebody with you. You're doing this work because you believe in the promise of America. It is a privilege to fight for it. We know that this is our moment. I want to be in that rocking chair telling that story. And here's the deal. Georgia, you have the potential to win this whole damn thing for America. Right through here. Right through here. So as our next president taught us, when we fight, when we vote, win it for America, Georgia. Let's go.
Well, I was born in a small town and I live in a small town. I could die in a small town. Oh, a small
And now,
community.
please welcome Michael Stipe.
Hello. Can you hear me? You guys come on up here, clear this stage. We got some work to do. I want that man to be my vice president. All right, everybody here, give me a V. Give me an O. Give me a T. Give me an E. It's fun to get out the... No. It's fun to get out the V-O-T-E. It's fun to get out the V-O-T-E. All right, you take it from there. Let's try that one more time. It's fun to get out the V-O-T-E. You got it. All right. I have a lot of great stories. I've had an incredible life, but I'm a terrible storyteller. So I'm going to read a little story that's not about politics at all. Let me set the stage. This is a story about love. It was 6 years ago, New York City, 2018, my friend's birthday, and her husband invited 5 of us to have a birthday dinner with her at a restaurant in Midtown Manhattan. So we arrive at the restaurant, and my friend is in a terrible, terrible mood. I don't know what had happened to her that day, but it was not good. And we sat down at the table. Her husband ordered vodka martinis for everyone to try to lift the spirit a little bit. And I was trying to avoid her eyes, just to let her get out of her bad mood. And I noticed a small table next to us, a couple, a man and a woman. They were sat very close to each other. And they were sharing a hamburger that they had split in half. They each had a glass of red wine. And I come from a family of love. My mother and father were so madly in love with each other. I know love when I see it. I'm avoiding my friend's eyes because she's in a terrible mood. Vodka martinis are being drunk. And I catch myself looking at this couple at the next table from time to time, and I think they saw me looking once or twice, and I smiled. And that was really about it. My friend's mood lifted a little bit. The dinner commenced. I'm thinking about this couple at the next table. They're sitting so close to each other. They're so crazy in love, it's obvious to me. And at some point, they got up to leave. I didn't notice that. I was enjoying my friend's company. I feel a tap on my shoulder. And I turn around, and this woman says, "My husband loves music. He's a big fan of yours. My name is Kamala Harris. This is Doug Emhoff." And I stood up and we shook hands, and that was about it. I just want to say, from that New York City restaurant 6 years ago, these people were real, genuine, crazy in love with each other. And what a joy it is to see that then, privately, just the two of them enjoying each other's company. And now to see and celebrate that type of dedication and that type of love on a national and a global stage. Thank you. I'm going to perform a couple of songs. I'd like to invite to the stage Andy LeMaster and David Barbie. I love you too. Thank you. Can you all hear me okay? Did you like my Village People reference there? I heard that. We're going to do a song that I performed, that I performed once in public at another one of these rallies, and I really enjoyed doing it then. And we were great, and hopefully we're not going to fuck it up today. This is a song that I wrote with Aaron Dessner from the band The National, and it's called No Time for Love Like Now. Here we go. No time for breezy, no time for arguments, no time for love like now. There's no time in the bardo, no time in the in-between, no time for love like now. There's no time for dancing, no time for undecideds, no time for love like now. Where did this all begin to change? The lockdown memories can't sustain this glistening, hanging free fall. I turned away from the glorious light and I turned my head and cried. Whatever waiting means in this new place, I am waiting for you. There's no time for honey, no time for psalms and thresholds, whispers, sweet prayer sigh. Where did this all begin to change? The lockdown memories can't sustain this glistening, hanging free fall. I turned away from the glorious light and I turned my head and cried. Whatever waiting means in this new place, I am waiting for you. Your voice is echoing love, 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 love. I hear it far, far away. And I am waiting for you. Yes, I am waiting for you. Whatever waiting means in this new place, I am waiting for you. Yes, I am waiting for you. I am waiting for you. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for voting or getting ready to vote. I want to encourage everyone in Georgia, because we know what it means. We've been here before. We know what it means when you get every single person in your community, your church, your skate club, whatever the hell it is. Get them out, talk to them, get them there to vote. A little bird backstage told me that this is the governor's favorite REM song, so we're going to do it for you today. The walls are built up stone by stone. The fields divided one by one. And the train conductor says, take a break, driver brake, take a break. We've been on the shift too long. And the train conductor says, take a break, driver brake, take a break. We can't reach our destination, but we're still a ways away. I saw a treehouse on the outskirts of the farm. The power lines have floaters so the airplanes won't get snagged. The bells are ringing through the town again. The children look up, all they hear is sky blue bells ringing. And the train conductor says, take a break, driver brake, take a break. We can reach our destination, but we're still a ways away. But we're still a ways away. A way to shield the hated heat. A way to put myself to sleep. A way to shield the hated heat. A way to put myself, my children to sleep. He piloted this song in a plane like that one. She is selling faith on the Go-Tel Crusade. Locomotive 8, Southern Crescent, hear the bells ring again. The fields of wheat is looking thin. And the train conductor says, take a break, driver brake, take a break. We've been on this shift too long. And the train conductor says, take a break, driver brake, take a break. We can reach our destination, but we're still a ways away. We're still a ways away. 2 more days. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bon Jovi and the War of Peace.
And thank you very much. We love you too. Welcome. What a beautiful way to spend your Sunday, right? Everybody good? Great. Come in and leave your mind open. It's time we let love in. Mother, Father, I ain't broken. Barely feeling, but I'm hoping there's forgiveness for my sins.
I had a dream last night, and in that dream I lost my sight. Life left me deaf, dumb, and blind. Woke up to realize we're still asleep with open eyes.
We are building this house of love. We're building this house, building this house. This is the people's house. From sea to shining sea, the Rocky Mountains built these walls. These are our city streets. No wrecking ball is gonna knock it down. Nobody's gonna come steal the keys. This is the people's house, the house of you and me.
Time for the turning of the page. It's time to say goodbye. We have changed. No crying, no look out for each other. Father, mother, sister, brother, can't keep fighting one another. Yeah.
We are building this house of love. Building this house. Building this house. This is the people's house. From sea to shining sea, the Rocky Mountain built these walls. These are our city streets. No wrecking ball will come and knock it down. Nobody's gonna come and steal the keys. This is the people's house, the house of you and me. Yeah. I wasn't born a man of privilege, but I'm privileged just the same. No way, no right's way to stand, no truth can hide us from the shame. Till we all believe in change. We are building this house of love. We're building this house, building this house. This is the people's house.
This is the people's
You
house.
see the shining sea. You Rocky Mountain built these walls. These hearts are our city streets. No wrecking ball come and knock it down. There ain't nobody gonna steal the keys. This is the people's house, the house of you and me.
This is the people's house, and they know. And we won't turn around, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the people's house, yeah.
Tommy used to work on the docks. The union went on strike. He's down on his luck. Eternal. It's so tough. In Ginsburg's dining room day, working for a man, she brings home a people love. For love, you see we gotta hold on to what we got. Doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We give it a shot. Oh, we have the failure.
Living on the praise.
Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear.
Oh, living on the praise. He's holding in what he used to make it on so John Bon Jovi tough, yeah. She the streets are running away. When she cries in the night, Tommy whispers, baby, it'll be okay. Someday
We gotta hold on to what we got. Doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. Got each other, and that's a lot for love. Give it a shot. Oh, every day.
oh, living on the prayer.
Take my hand, we make it, I swear.
Oh, living on the prayer.
We're living on prayer. You gotta hold on, ready or not. You live for the fight when it's all about you. When I sing, oh, every day.
Oh, living on the prayer.
Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear.
Oh, living on the prayer.
If we do,
Oh, living on the prayer.
you take my hand, we'll make it, I swear.
Oh, living on the prayer. Oh, living on the prayer.
Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear.
Oh, living on the prayer. That's what we're doing, yeah. Living on the prayer.
Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you very much. Governor Walz, Doug, it's great to see you. It's great to be here with you both. It's a wonderful day. My name is John Bon Jovi, and I am proud to be here to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to become the next president and vice president of these United States of America. Now, I have one simple question for you. Georgia, who can we rely on to unite us when we are, in fact, at our most divided? This great country adopted a motto in the year 1782, E pluribus unum, which in Latin translates to out of many, one. These words are very true today. Now, we can move forward embracing what makes us different, because what makes us different is actually what makes America great. We, the people, hold the power to decide our future. In Georgia, you may very well have the deciding vote
come Tuesday night in this election. I'd like to add that, in fact, you all know I'm from the great state of New Jersey. But my son Jacob is a registered voter in Georgia, and he has moved to Georgia with his wife. So he's cast his ballot here already for Kamala. Now it is in fact time that we move forward to the polls, Georgia. Election day, as you know, is Tuesday, November the 5th, the day after tomorrow. So be sure that you bring your ID and then make your voice heard and vote, because the world is counting on you. This is the people's house. This is the house of you and of me. Now, these wonderful folks that are standing to my right and to my left, Michael Trotter and Tanya Trotter, also very well known as Warren Treaty, my dear friends. And if I may, I'd like to introduce to you Michael Trotter, who is in fact a war veteran, a wounded warrior in the Iraq War. And my dear friend would like to say a few words, if you would. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Atlanta, what's up? What we doing, huh? Thank you, John, for this opportunity. And I want to say this. I am a son of America. My wife is a daughter of an immigrant. And I want to tell you real quick about a quick conversation I had with one of Georgia's brightest stars, a star that will never, ever dim, though he is no longer with us. And that's Mr. Good Trouble, Mr. John Lewis. I said, John, if you could tell me anything, what is it that you want to tell me? He said, Michael, I need you and your wife to get into good trouble. And that's what I'm going to do for this next few seconds that I have right here. My mother, Deborah Trotter, taught me a long time ago to never eavesdrop. But when I raise my hand to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against both foreign and domestic enemies, it afforded me the opportunity to eavesdrop. And let me tell you what I heard in those rooms of those foreign and domestic enemies. I hear this question that they've been asking about Atlanta. They've asked about Dr. King. They've asked about Andrew Young. They have asked this question, and the question is this: how is a Harris and a Walz ticket still standing? We've thrown everything at them. We've thrown evil remarks. We've thrown lies, and we raised up fear. And they still stand. Well, let me tell you, I've got that answer right here in Atlanta. They are standing because they got the blood of the people pumping through their veins. They've got the will of the people in front of their agendas. And just like Atlanta, they know how to bounce back and fight back and stand for the people. And this is the people's house. Now go vote. Tell those people who think they don't matter, you matter more than you know. Go vote. What are we going to do on November 5th? No. What are we going to do? No. That's right. Make noise, Atlanta. What's up?
Can I get an amen from Michael Trotter? You know what? I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. How about if we just do one more and I ask Mr. Michael Stipe to come back up here and join us? Michael, come and do me a favor, my brother. Please join us up here. One more. One of your biggest hits. Michael Stipe, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm good.
This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I've left behind. A simple prop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I love. The fire. This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I've left behind. Another prop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I love. Fire. This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I've left behind. Another prop has occupied my time. This one goes out to the one I love. Fire. The Warren Treaty, John Bon Jovi. You all get out the boat. Let's do it, Georgia. Thank you very much.